Christ! Welcome back to the channel. Taddy's cleaning the clam up with acetone so that we can then sand it and then start laying up the fiberglass. You look comfy. No, I'm not. No wonder you've got bad knees, man. And then I don't know what my camera's doing. Sometimes it just loses the plot. So apparently yesterday they got this running. I haven't heard it yet, but it was making lots of noises, and they thought it was coming from the gearbox. So they just topped up the oil in it. Have you topped it up, or you just put 7 litres of oil in it? So it didn't have any oil in it. So that might have. They're hoping that that's going to sort out the noise it was making, but apparently it was a battle yesterday. So anyway, we'll let it go brum today. See, look at where my camera's pointing. Like I'm trying to get it for some reason like wants to stay over there, and then when I go back there it wants to go over there, so I'm having to tell it to go right. So it just sometimes gets on the piss a little bit.
Maybe it's got some sort of tracking enabled.
Possibly. And then, so I'm going to cut some shapes anyway for these patches, for these areas, and messing on with the clocks as well. So I need Jonathan to press cut on the laser cutter for that piece that we were playing with the other day on there. Bam, 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 bam. Christ!
See how much that bin moves?
Along with me, Right, so these are my clocks. That's the front. It's glued in at the minute into position, and then we've made this back that sits onto the, you won't be able to see in there, but there's like little pillars that it bolts into, little rubber mounts. So I put washers on the end of those just to pack this out a little bit so that the clock doesn't sit any further forward. And then I'm going to now glue that into place, and then once that's set, I'll be able to take the clocks out the front, and we'll have a back panel that we can then fiberglass up to create a solid back that then the clocks will bolt to. Right, so now the clocks are out of it, and that's my back plate for that now sits down straight to that. I've cut that front bit off. So now there's these bits that I made. So I've got these bits to go up the sides. Do I put them in from the front now? No, I think what I'll do is I'll fiberglass that in, so I've got the back plate, and then I'll create some sides, because I want to get some strength back into it and I don't want that to move. So Tatty's going to be doing some fiberglassing in a minute. So I'll nab some of it for here, and we'll get that glassed in. Just going to roughen up the inside edges of this so that the glass sticks. So I've cleaned off all these edges, all the spiky bits. I'm going to cut that bit out of there now with my new little choppy saw. So I'll take these off, because these are acting like little spacers.
So that's it now, sat down onto the rubber feet on the far side, so we just need to bolt that up now. It's so tight actually, it's got no movement left or right or up and down with the fiberglass in the top there as well. It's definitely down onto its little pads because I can feel the spring in it. So now I've got a solid base to work off, and this is all now rigid and square, and that's sitting in right now. I just need to build up these bits with my finger holes in the side. So I'll just shape that up with the foam board and then probably glass over the top of it, so that I've then got a solid shape. And maybe same again, we'll maybe use this to make a peak, because I want some sort of peak over the top of it, so it's not, yeah, so that'll have to come out. So what I didn't do was wax the back of that, which probably should have done. So I'm now just gonna have to like scrape that out the back of there, delaminate it. Mission. So that's as far as we've got today, or rather Tatty's got. Chief fiberglassing operative. So I've got all these edges done right the way around and all the awkward bits around there. There's a little bit of sanding to do and tidying up, so we'll trim these edges off tomorrow and then go again and layer up all the big areas, get all the layers on tomorrow, and that'll be it done just like that, because everything's been that easy. And in here, something that looks like that, the screw holes are drilled for mounting it. There's going to be a knock to that, and that's not it. There we go. So I've got these bits to build up around there. Obviously that's going to be sitting flush. I could put some lights or something in there. Nah, mind you, it's got enough lights going on in it anyway. So yeah, build up around there, fiberglass, make a little peak on this top bit. So hopefully we'll get that done tomorrow as well, or well on with it anyway. While we're fiberglassing over on the clam, I'll be able to just get this set up and then rob some bits of the mix and do this. Fabio's meditating over here.
It's the last time I will hopefully be doing any of this, because it runs and works as it should do after days of battling.
Yeah, so you're just wrapping it all up now, all the individual stems, and then back to the main thing, and then wrapping the full. Which bit of harness is this?
It's the engine harness.
Right, so you pulled it all back out.
Yeah,
and
pulled it all back out now that everything works.
Yeah.
Wrap it all up, put it back in for the final time.
Look all nice and neat when it's done though. That's a satisfying bit of it. Now you've got it working.
So no, it's not that long. It all sort of fits in quite nicely, to be fair.
Yeah, nice to have seen it running though. Back at the garage, my RB200 t-shirt on. Check that out, class. Right, available on the website. Okay, so I've had a day off filming. We were here yesterday with Tatty, and we were tackling the fiberglass on the clam, so it was chaos. So Jonathan was busy, so it was just me and Tatty, so I was very much had my hands full. Where's the camera going over there? This thing's got a mind of its own sometimes. So this is where we got to yesterday. We've got quite a lot, because obviously Tatty's learning there, and I was trying to get him to do as much as possible, but keeping him right, but he was kind of getting a little bit too far ahead of his solid places, and so we've got some bubbles in here to sort out, and we've got some spiky bits to deal with, but it's all been obviously I'm still like learning the whole process of the moulding and not enjoying it, so hopefully Tatty's going to get to enjoy it, and we've got a few blisters to sort out, and I don't want those problems in it, so there's like a blister all the way down there because it's lifted up. There's all these points on it where like I can see where the problems came from in the original mould, because it is actually, you know, in the original piece that I had, because all those holes that I had in it are the ones that if I don't sort these now will be happening in this as well, and that's not happening, so they need sorted now. But I also need to sort a better way of doing it. I was also messing on with my clocks and now I don't know what. Oh yeah, hang on a minute, I'll go and get them. So I did show you some bits of this, but it was just the start of it. So obviously I'd cut out the front of this and the pods. This is the back, and then I got Jonathan to cut us that bit of foam board out, glued that in, and then I fiberglassed in the other side, you know, to create a back where I can mount the clocks, because they bolt in on those 4 holes, but by using the same sort of console. So I'd cut the front out, and then what I've done that I didn't film is I built up these corners with the foam board, made a wall there, flatted off that top bit, made a peak on there for obviously covering over the screen, like a shade. Still got a bit of, see, that's higher than that, so I'm going to blend all this into there with filler, and it should create quite a nice shape. So that's what the clock surround's looking like now. So you can kind of guess what I've been doing. I didn't really need to film it, but I was running about like a mad at it between doing this and working with Tatty on the clam as well, so didn't even think about getting the camera out. So that's where I got to anyway with it. So I'm going to sand that up now and check that the clock's still fitting it, because I've fiberglassed on the inside, so just need to make sure that there's enough room in there still. Might have to grind some glass back, but I'll get sanding. Right, so I've taken all the spiky bits off, just went over it with the power file, and the sander just tidied it up a little bit so it's not dangerous to handle, because it was spiky as hell. So I've tried the clocks in, and the tight, they were always gonna be, because I was building on the inside with the fiberglass of the hole. I tried to make it bigger, but there was gonna be bits that were filling it up a little bit. So it's tight on these bottom corners here, and it's tight in these top corners here. So I'll clean them up. And then I've got to make like a recess as well, because it's got buttons on the side, so I need to be able to get my finger in the side, so I need to make a recess for that as well. But I wanted to get the bulk of it done, like so that I've got something to work with, something solid to work with, because it was all just cardboard. I didn't want to make it that foam board, so I didn't want to make it try and make the recesses out of the foam board as well. I'd rather have some structure there. Getting there, just a little bit of tweaking, and I'll put a skimmer filler over the inside of that once it's in right. Still needs to go down a little bit, just about there though. In fact, that is it all the way in. So I just need to give it a little bit of clearance. It actually doesn't need much clearance, I just need a little bit down there, and my finger holes. So I'll take my mask off. Yeah, so I'll cut the finger holes out next, but I'll have to take the plastic, the masking tape off, so I can see where they are, where the buttons are. So I'll do a little bit more sanding around here until you've got enough room for us to put a skimmer filler in. So it gives us enough room there. I've brought that line following up into that, and then repeating the shape on the top side back into there. These will, so you see how that line is following that line, so I want that like to mimic that, so it's all kind of got a coherent shape throughout it. Obviously you didn't see us use much tape measures there, but that's about that long, and that's about, it's actually slightly shorter, that one. I could take that one out a little bit further. Ow, spike. So yeah, that one wants to go out a little bit further. I could tell by how far my finger was pushing, but you can get at the buttons all right anyway. So from there, I'm going to glass into there now, and just create my recessed shape there, and then I can finalise that off, and that'll just be filled in there. I could just do that with, might just be as easy just to do it with resin if I stuff that, so the filler doesn't have to, don't fill it full of filler. I might just do that actually, the bridging filler, and then go over and shape it that way. That's what I'll do. And then these bits here as well, because those will be bridging filler, and then bits there. So and that bit round there as well. So I may as well just mix a batch of that. I think I'm going to take that one back a bit, but now that's in there, it'll sand back a little bit further. Or I can bring that one in a bit, just balance them out. Once I've got these bits in, I'll fill in the other bits. I wanted to do the fiddly bits first. I need more anyway, so for that top edge, I'll just fill those in. Some bits along that edge. Those bits there. Jonathan's working on building a dyno today. That's what all the jangle about is. He's making the hub adapters for. Well, it's a 4 hub dyno, so it's not a rolling road. It's the ones where you fix the wheels, or rather the hubs of the car to the dyno itself. Hence called the hub dyno. So that's it sat in the car. It's not finished but it's a couple of coats of fiberglass bridging filler into it. Ground these out for my buttons. That one needs, they both need adjusted a little bit, but I'm going to adjust that one so it's the same as that one because that one feels best. Mind you, I could bring that one down because you don't need that extra space. One's bigger than the other anyway. This one's definitely tighter. That one's got a bit of play room in it, but that's big enough. I'm still going to sand that one a bit further back though and make it a bit bigger. I don't even know what them buttons are for. Menu buttons, Jonathan says. But yeah, it's sat back nicely. It's got that little peak on the top. It looks good from the side as well. So that's me for today. Back tomorrow.